Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X research and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one's entitled Planet X and Earth's Core Splitting. Will the planet break apart? Now, in Article 567 entitled Magnetic North Pole Split Increasing, Precursor to Cataclysmic Earthquakes, I showed that the likely reason why the Earth's magnetic North Pole has broken into two North Poles is because the Earth's core is splitting into two in the core's North Pole region. This split can be caused by a large Planet X object large enough to interact electrically with the magma in the core, but so low in gravitational energy that its gravitational influence on the core plasma is repulsive, so that the force is literally forcing the core plasma apart at the North Pole region. And here you have the magnetic field strength graph. And this is based on data collected in 2014, and it shows that there are now two North Poles. You can see the dark red region here, which would indicate high intensity of the magnetic field, and it's surrounded by red. Both of them are surrounded by red, and then another layer of orange, and then yellow. So they're definitely two separate poles here. The South Pole does not seem to have separated, but it seems to have moved towards Australia. So it's not just that a new North Pole appeared over Russia, but the one over Canada, this one, seems to have moved further south as well, which may explain why the South Pole, which seems aligned with it, this one, which seems to be around here, has moved towards Australia. Since all upper layer fields are likely to be aligned to the core's magnetic field, this can only be that the core is split at the North Pole, and the splitting is accelerating as the average position of the North Pole is accelerating its shift towards Siberia. In other words, in the direction where the new North Pole has appeared. And so this can be explained by an object appearing over the North Pole in this position. Just the North Pole is there, just a little bit off it, and splitting the core at this point because of its repulsive gravitational influence on it, because it's so low in gravitational energy. And then you would get two North Poles. And this is what the currents would look like. It's the currents that then create the magnetic field. So this would be the circulation of the plasma in the core. And once the initial split is made due to the repulsive force, you get an initial split, which would then cause these two currents. Well, you only have one current there. Then you would, as it increases, two currents would appear, and that would split the North Pole into two poles, because now you have separate circulation. And once the two poles appear, they will repel each other. So the process will continue to happen, and until eventually the core splits into two. So once a split in the core appears, the circulation of plasma would change from one current to two separate currents, which is what would give rise to two North Poles. But once two North Poles appear, they will repel each other, which will tend to increase the separation and thus increase the splitting. As the splitting increases, the object which caused the initial split may be able to inch closer to the planet, thus further increasing the split. This could lead to the core splitting into two separate cores, which would split the planet into two. And this is how that could happen. So as the core splits into two, the planet splits into two. So you get two halves of the solid crust. The magma from the inside would overflow, would flow onto the crust. So basically you would end up with this whole crust becoming covered in magma. and then eventually the core would most likely create more magma, and you would end up solidifying, and you end up with 2 planets with a new crust. Now, once the split has reached a certain level, even the removal of the object which caused the initial split will not stop the process, as the poles will continue to repel, thus accelerating the splitting process. Such an event would be so cataclysmic that it is doubtful anyone would survive. A sign that this may be about to occur is if the South Pole suddenly starts splitting into 2 poles. In the meantime, we will continue to be in danger of severe and cataclysmic earthquakes and volcanic activity, especially in the regions around the 2 North Poles, but the unstable core will most likely affect the whole planet. So in conclusion, the splitting in the Earth's magnetic North Pole into 2 North Poles, which appear to also be moving apart at an accelerating rate, suggests that the core may be in the process of splitting into 2 cores, which would split the planet into 2. Such an event would be cataclysmic, and it is unlikely that any human or animal on the surface would survive such an event. And that's the reference. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.